What's going on, y'all? Bud Elliott here. That's Chuck Blunt, and this is the Nolecast coming to you after a 42-7 Florida State win over the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. A dominant defensive effort, an explosive effort on the offense. Chuck, let's first start here by thanking our friends at the Legendary Team. Legendary Home Loans does a tremendous job getting you your home loan. It's 844-FSU-LOAN. 844-FSU-LOAN is the number to call. Of course, Chad has worked with everybody, more than 600 loans through the Legendary Team. That's the number to call. Awesome people to work with. Definitely hit them up. Chuck, what's going on, man?
Man, it was nice to see a win. Nice to see that they haven't given up. I know I kind of questioned that in the preview if that's where we were at on the season. So it was good to see the great effort, and I mean, they're probably going to make a bowl now.
I think they almost certainly have to, right? Now, granted, like they could screw around and lose just like they have been against Stanford and Pitt and all those teams, but it was nice to actually watch a win and be like, yes, cool.
And you could watch the confidence build, right? Because it was a slow start. But the defense got the early stops. I think we kind of talked about that in the preview. They needed something to go right early, and they got the stops, and the defense kept them from falling in an early hole. And once the offense got going, they hit the big play down the left sideline to Deuce, and you get the run game going. And like you said, the explosive plays was great to see because that's what Gus's offense needs. It's not going to just beat teams down to down and have 10 play, 80-yard drives. They need those explosive plays. So it was good to see that because they've kind of been lacking that during the losing streak.
Man, I agree with you. I think it is just nice to see them go out, hit explosive plays. Defense played pretty well. I mean, there's still some concerning things. I mean, 10 TFLs on 57 plays is, not super encouraging, but a little bit healthier on the injury front. And, if you believe the goal of this team was don't get fired, which I honestly do. I don't think they're building towards anything the way they recruit. I don't think there's to me, they're not any closer to turning the corner to being anything close to something FSU fans can be proud of.
Yeah.
But avoiding losing to Wake helps you to not be a certain level of embarrassment greater than you already are. And certainly this year's embarrassing. You lose to Stanford.
That's the worst part though, because the other three losses really they're one score games to top 30 teams. If they didn't have the ugly blemish to the Stanford, I don't think there would be the vitriol from the fan base right now that we've seen for the last few weeks, right? If they just wouldn't have lost that Stanford game, and unfortunately they did, and it is what it is. But you look at the power rankings, they should probably be favored at least in 3 of the next 4. Or 2 of the next 4, I should say, but probably 3 of the next 4. Most of the power ratings think they're actually better than Clemson and would favor them on Saturday, even though Vegas has it flipped. Most power rankings have it more like a 2.5-point game for FSU. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle. We know that they've struggled mightily on the road under Mike Norvell for 5+ seasons. So I am curious. Can they take this on the road? Can they run the football? Clemson's offense has put up points throughout the year, though that defense has not been anywhere close to the Clemson standard.
Clemson looked in that game, and Duke, my model had Duke winning the ACC, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Which is now, granted, it's not a super high likelihood, but that
would take some wild stuff, right?
Not that much. If you looked into this, Chuck, they're second place in the ACC odds right now.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. Getting the Clemson win was actually a fairly big deal for them if you check the odds out. I was surprised at some of the tie breaks and some other stuff because they only have one conference loss right now.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Manny's done a good job at Duke. He just has.
I mean, they're 10 cents off for being literally the favorite in the league.
Interesting.
I think Manny would do a good job here. Honestly,
I do too.
I mean, is Mario doing a better job than Manny? Yes, but right. Yes, but he's getting so much more money to play with than Manny did.
Yeah, and I don't think Manny would. I don't think Manny would be 11-11 against non-Clemson FSU ACC teams.
But they don't take ACC games seriously. Neither does Mike Knowles' team.
Right.
Not consistently enough. They just think they're better than these teams. And, the weird thing is, like, it's almost worse with Miami because Mike doesn't recruit well enough to where you should be able to overlook these teams, right? Like, I know he has a lot of money, but they don't do a lot with it. Okay. Miami actually does bring in studs. And so, like, their level of not give a damn in some of these ACC games is probably less. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're wasting more talent in Coral Gables than you're wasting in Tallahassee.
It's interesting, too, because I actually looked into it when Mario was at Oregon. That wasn't the case. Like, if you remove the games against Washington and USC, he was 15-2 against the rest of the Pac-12. Right. So it's like, I would be curious to know why they have the struggles. And I know this isn't a Kane podcast, but it's just, it's an interesting thing, like, just to watch them, because we see the same thing in Tallahassee. Like we said, it's just interesting to watch both these programs take those games for granted, and they wind up in dogfights they just shouldn't be in, both of them, but especially Miami. And then you're susceptible to a bad call by the refs or one turnover here or something. And games they just shouldn't be in. What's that, Mario's 6th time as a double-digit favorite he's now lost at Miami? 6 times. That's not a good return on investment for all their NIL.
It's such a front-running fan base, and like this is weird because it was a road game, and they have not been a great road team under Mario. And you almost think they would be, because like home field there is nothing except for the very biggest of games.
They're 4-9 in November road games outside the state of Florida under him, and they've lost 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, which was the primary concern entering the season, because they had to play 8 straight conference games without a bye.
And they still got at Virginia Tech and at Pitt to close.
And this is a crappy conference. I mean, bad. This should be a one-bid league, in my opinion. Like, this is not a good league.
No.
But, like, you still got to take care of business, and they don't. I mean, neither does FSU, obviously. But, like, they did in this game. It was nice to see some other people get involved a little bit. Like, I mean, not at receiver, really. At receiver, it was your feed your studs. I mean, do you think Deuce is going pro? I would assume so. He's not getting faster. He's not getting bigger.
I mean, he's gonna have to see what his grade is, right? He's probably a poor man's Mike Evans, right? Mike Evans was the number 1 wide receiver in his class and was a clear-cut first-round draft pick. I don't think that's Deuce, but Deuce has the measurables and some of the similar attributes. Neither was lightning fast, but they used their body well to go up and catch 50-50 balls.
Right.
But I would be curious. He has such a good rapport with Tommy. It might, if Tommy gets another year, and depending on what Deuce's grade comes back, I could see him coming back next year to play together one more year and put up 50 catches for, I don't know, 1,400 or 1,200 yards, something like that. I could see something crazy like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could too. And honestly, it'll be interesting to see. So I don't know if you saw this, but they have a case coming up now in December for the 5 for 5.
Okay.
Which could be interesting to see how this is played. Obviously,
I would prefer that than unlimited eligibility, like they've kind of talked about.
We assume Gus won't be here next year, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Is that, like, are other people assuming that too? Like, that's what I assume.
I would be kind of shocked if he was back, even if Norvell is still the head coach. I feel like this seems like a 1-year type of thing to help as like a stopgap for Norvell.
Yeah, that didn't go as well as they thought it would go.
Right.
So who knows if like they think Sperry's actually a fit for what they're going to do if and when Gus is gone, but like if Gus is gone, I assume you don't want Tommy back.
That would be my assumption.
Yeah. Like, he's not a fit for an offense that wants to throw the ball. But if he is here somehow, or if you decide to run a very similar offense and bring in, I'm trying to think who you would have call it. I don't know. Then maybe you're actually really happy if he gets 5 for 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a guy you can pay kind of like not a discount rate relative to his skills, but a discount rate relative to his position, because he doesn't
Did he look healthier to you?
He looked twitchier.
Yeah, he seemed more willing to run and had a little more burst than we've seen him the last 2 or 3 games, right, since the ankle injury right before Virginia. So I felt like he still wasn't the same Tommy we saw versus Bama, but he did seem to more willing to run and have a little more juice to him than he's had for probably the last 6 weeks now.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair. I mean, to me, like, yes, but like the defense was really nice.
Oh yeah.
Right? And we know Wake's not a good offense, but like they made a bad offense look bad.
And that's what you want them to do, right?
Yes.
Like, and that's what they haven't always done. Like the Pitt game's a good example. You're getting a guy in his first career road start, and they made him look like an All-American, unfortunately. Like, that it was nice to see. It almost seemed like Tony kind of dumbed down the defense. Like he didn't put as much on their plate that they maybe had, and to the point where they were paralysis by analysis, right? Like just too much going on, and it was just go out there and play football, which is nice to see. Hopefully that kind of continue. I'd rather get beat playing some basic stuff, but letting them play fast than them playing slow and just sitting there thinking, and they're getting, people are blowing by them because they're just, what am I seeing? Right? Just go out there and play football. That's what these guys should do at this level, especially against a lot of bad teams down the stretch.
I agree with you on that. I mean, it was nice to see some of the young guys on defense get involved. I just, like, if they really decide that they're not going to commit to start moving in a serious direction, and they decide to keep Mike, that's going to be so frustrating because it feels like you are just spinning the wheels for another year, right? And there's no guarantee that
that schedule next year is rough too. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're basically setting them up to wear the losses next year and then fire them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be real here. Look at the schedule next year.
If you struggle to go 6-6 against this schedule, I don't know how they win 6 next year, because you have at Bama, which isn't the opener. A lot of people, I don't think, realize that it's week 3. The game's on September 19th. But you play Notre Dame, you play Clemson, you play at Miami, you host Florida. You also have to go to Louisville, I believe. You
host SMU.
Yeah, you have SMU as well on schedule. You're at Pitt. You play
host
Virginia
NC State.
again.
Like, if they hold on to Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's a 4 or 5 win schedule based on what we know about Norvell teams.
Right. Like, you're a dog at Bama. You're a dog hosting Florida if they get competent coaching, because they have much better players than you do. You're favored against Central Arkansas. You're favored against BC or at BC. Are you a dog to Clemson?
In tally, I think it probably depends
a lot off that team. Now, they do still recruit better than you do, but like,
it probably depends on where it is on the schedule and what the mindset of the team is going to be. If it's early in the year, I could see them being a slight home favorite. But if it's in November, I could see them being a field goal to a touchdown dog.
Right. You're probably favored over UVA, I would think, just because they lose a lot off that squad.
Yeah. And you probably get them early too.
You're probably a dog at Miami. I mean, if Pitt holds on to this quarterback, you're probably not favored by much in Pittsburgh.
You're probably a dog, to be honest.
You're definitely a dog to the Irish. So, yeah, I mean, it's
a 4 or 5 win schedule.
Yeah, but like, he has to do something. He has to do enough to where they don't have everybody like, yeah, I'm not renewing these season tickets, right? Yeah. Like, it was nice to get the win on Saturday, but consistency has been such a problem, right? Like, you should go beat NC State, but NC State rose up and they beat Georgia Tech.
Well, and also, that's a house of horrors for FSU in general. Even good FSU teams struggle in that place. Like, the models say that they should be maybe a touchdown favorite at NC State, and I'd probably make them a touchdown dog just because I know what happens when that team goes there. Plus, it's a non-Saturday game. That just makes it even more frightening for this fan base, because we have so many bad memories of Thursday nights in that place. It's a Friday this time, but still, short week. It's gonna be an ugly game that they're gonna have to play probably their A game to get out of there with a W.
I mean, we'll see. Man, I am curious to see what happens here.
I'm curious to see. Clemson's lost their last 6 home games to Power 4 teams.
Like, culturally, they look off.
There's something wrong there. Like,
yeah.
Dabo lost his mind on the defense on the sideline at one point. I mean, I can't remember the last time watching Clemson last time they gave up 40 plus like that gives me memories of playing West Virginia in the Orange Bowl and giving up 70. That's 70. Like, their defense hasn't been that bad in 15 years.
Jesus.
I mean, that was Dana.
That was the game that Kevin Steele had the stuff going on. People thought, and
yeah, they lost like 70-33 or something like that down in the Orange Bowl. And what was that? 09? Because wasn't that after the Ponder blew his shoulder out in Death Valley?
Yeah, because he was trying to tackle who was the kid. The kid who hit him was from Tally.
Yeah, it was oh god, drawing a blank.
DeAndre McDaniel.
Yes, that's it.
Sound right?
Sounds right.
God, I have too much useless crap in my brain, bro. You know.
Oh, I don't know. Next week will be interesting because, I mean, I feel like both these teams are so mentally fragile. If something bad goes against them early, either one could teeter on the brink. So it's like imperative FSU starts fast for a change on the road. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to say that very often about FSU in the last few years. When's the last time they actually started fast on the road?
This is the problem. Like, other teams see the jersey and they want to play up.
Yeah.
You know, including Clemson. Like Clemson, Duke, whatever, man. Like, stuff's not going well. We'll still kill those guys, and you don't. But like Clemson, Florida State. Now I'm taking film study serious.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm worried because I know if I really don't show up, in theory, that jersey could blow me out. The talent of the team, not really, but like the jersey, based on history, could. You know. So we will. I guess we'll see how that goes. Oh, Nile's here too. I know you got dipping a little bit, Chuck, but
that's cool.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? Can you guys?
Yeah, we got you. We're just chatting about. And we by the way, we planned this. We figured we knew Chuck couldn't stay for the whole thing, and Nile really couldn't get on to about 9. So, figured it'd be a nice little swap eventually. Just talk about like this game against Clemson, dude, and how it's going to be an interesting test for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Give me 1 second. Let me check on something really quick. I don't know if my.
But do you think it was on purpose that the ACC has given FSU 3 consecutive games on the ACC network? You know, non-Nielsen rated.
I don't think that was actually. Now we got to see how they handle that, right?
I am curious because they aren't Nielsen, and the media keeps talking about it, right? That they aren't Nielsen, but they have to have some type of internal measure that they can use.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
like, guys,
what I'm curious is it an average or is it the aggregate total? Because if it was the average, it doesn't hurt not having. Like they already have big games for the average. It would actually be better to not if it is the average they're taking. If they're taking the aggregate, I want those numbers. Even if it's only a million viewers, we need the check.
Right. I don't know if it's the aggregate or the average, but I guess we can check
find
on that. Like obviously they sell ads on that station, not good ones, but they sell ads. So like they
you don't like tactical glasses,
bro? I am tacked up, man. Like I am so if the world goes to shit, I am ready. You know. Now, have you purchased anything off AC Network?
Oh, I have not.
No.
Oh,
that's funny, man.
They had that, like the tactical glasses. They had like the tack belt the one time was interesting. I feel like you're really like they need to sell like freeze dried meals too. Like just lean into the doomsday prepping. And just go with it, right?
Heavily.
Like Flex Seal, isn't it? Like that one. You have the hose, like the flexible hose that works too.
All the things they would have had Billy Mays sell is everything that's on the ACC network.
Exactly.
Sham wow.
Oh my god, dude. Oh man. All right, so hey, while Chuck and I are both here, initial reaction to the game. Lay it on us.
Oh man, I'm so torn between wanting to like really buy into what's going on and also just realizing and looking and watching that game and seeing as Wake Forest really did a lot of things in order for us to win that game. Like I'm very happy because we were there to respond. Like that could have happened and we could have easily just crap the bed. But
yes.
Wake Forest made mistakes and we were able to capitalize on them as well as just do well overall. So I was happy with our performance, but I think that there was too many things that happened as far as us being able to really feel good about this win. just because Wake Forest really they shot themselves in the foot too many times, and it was refreshing for us to see another team do it and not us. But initial reaction, I'm happy we won. I hope that the team is as bought in as it's being shown and is being portrayed, because that's what's going to really trickle over into to Clemson this upcoming week. So it's so hard. It's such a roller coaster of a season. But initial reaction, I was happy to be able to get a win for sure.
Nice, man. Anybody really stood out to you?
Other than Singleton,
that's your guy though. You've been wanting to see him more.
Yeah, no, he's been a stud. He's been a stud. I feel like anytime he's really got an opportunity, he's shown that one, he's decisive, which is really hard to see in this league. He's very decisive. When he makes a decision, he makes it, and he's very quick and he's fast. So I was really happy to see him being able to get some, as well as Norvell prioritize a little bit as far as what the depth chart looked like. You don't have a Chroma kind of jump over Singleton. You have him being able to come over and say, okay, I'm prepared. I'm ready. Let's see what that looks like. I feel like it diversifies as well as our portfolio as far as being able to spend some rev share. That allows us to not have all of our eggs in that Chroma basket. And in order for Singleton to be an option later on as we go into negotiations at the end of this season, which is crazy to even continue to talk about. But I'm happy that worked out. And as far as obviously Deuce stood out like he typically does, but on the defensive side of the ball, I really wish we can get Omar Graham to be a little bit more consistent, because he flashes every time he's on the field. When he's on the field, he flashes. He helps us in the run support significantly. But yeah, I would say it was a win that we really very much needed. I just don't like the smoking mirrors, and I feel like I'm being gaslit a little bit, to be honest. I hate the term gaslit, but
that's fair.
I feel like I'm being gaslit a little bit as far as what is going on. But and also one other thing, I'm really tired of hearing this next game will show us. Like, this next game will be the ticket. This next game will be the answer. Like, this next game will show us so much. I'm really over that as well.
But I would say that if they actually give a similar effort again next week, even in a close loss, I think I would take a little bit more from that, just because it would prove this Wake Forest game wasn't just a one-off because they were at home. To go on the road and give good effort and at least fight it down to the wire, whether or not you win, you would prefer to win, obviously, especially a rivalry game. But I think it would tell us a little something if they do give a similar effort next week and they can execute the basic stuff and look like a competent football team 2 weeks in a row. Well, I think that would be something I would at least take away from it. One person I would call that I was happy to see, James Williams finally looked more useful to the defense, for lack of a better word. It was nice to see him get off and get after the quarterback. You know, he I think he only got credit for half a sack, but he just looked better. And again, maybe that goes to dumbing down the defense some, right? Just no longer making them think too much and just go out there and play some football. You know, what do you see and react to it?
Yeah, I think we made the quarterback hold on to the ball a little longer as well, which helped our guys be able to get there. But I think this upcoming game with Clemson can show us a lot. I think there's so many answers that we could get, or so many insights we can get from this next game. But it just seems like every single game, this narrative just gets pushed over to the next game. It's like, all right, so let's see what's going on this game. To where it's like, I'm taking this thing day by day, game by game, and we'll see what we got at the end of the season. We need to have consistency. I spoke about it today on my social media, and I said, if we got full confirmation, right? Like, everyone after this like real emotional game started to like actually speak on Norvell and saying has they back him and he has the locker room and all these different things. We didn't hear about those things as much when things were going bad and he was about to lose his job, which I get. I do understand that. There's no reason for you to stick your neck out there for a guy that if he leaves, then what do you do? It's just I understand the politics in that, but it would have been nice to hear from a leader or two, hey, like Norvell's a part, like we really bought into what's going on here.
I would have liked to seen what Edwin Joseph said after this game. Say it after the Stanford game. He loves me and he coaches me hard, and it was just two people, in a competitive moment going at each other, but it was all love. I would have preferred to hear that after Stanford, not after you actually win the game against Wake. Just whether or not he's being on it, that's not the point. The point, the message would have gone better after the loss to Stanford than it would after a comfortable win.
Agreed. And what were you saying, Bob?
It just feels like front running, like cheap pop and wrestling. Like there's no better city than checks where we are tonight, Detroit, Michigan, right? Like if you really believe it, you say it after the losses. You say, no, that's my guy. We're sticking with him. Like I think all of what these guys said is complete BS.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, like I get cheap pop for it on social media, or I get a bunch of likes on it, man. I'm getting my engagement score up because the fan base wants any shred of hope, however false, to hold on to. Like, oh yeah, he has my back, and like the guy believed. Dude, if you actually believed in that, you'd show up and you would take Stanford seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You'd take Pitt seriously. You wouldn't give these no-show efforts for the guy.
Yeah.
Clearly, he doesn't have you, right? Like you showed up for this game, but we have a huge sample set that you don't show up consistently because the message doesn't get through consistently. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
I think it sucks because if you watch the game closely, they very much, the team itself very much went along with the momentum. So it wasn't like a moment. It's like they didn't really set the momentum. When the momentum was high, they kind of fed off of it, which is great. But you kind of have to just know that you're good enough in order to play, regardless of what the momentum may feel like.
How much is that microwave culture though? Because it's such a portal heavy team.
Yeah, which makes sense. But to a point, to what Bud, what the counterpart to what you said, Bud, I think that there is some truth to it, because if I'm a player and all I want to do is win, that's what I want to do. I want to do is win. And if my head coach is not proving that he can put us in the right spots to win, and I'm here and I really want to believe in this guy, he's saying the same thing to us, I don't know if I believe it or not, and we do win, it's like, you know what? Like maybe you are saying the right message. Maybe I do need to buy in more. And at that point, when you're high on emotions in the locker room, which after a game, especially, I think I've talked to you a couple times, Bud, back in the day, you're emotional, you're happy, you're excited, you have that high, and that's what it looked like it was. So I think there is some truth to it. I just don't know how that transfers over game to game and when things get tough. Yeah. Which is going to show us in the Clemson game.
Yep.
We got to see
if they beat. If they go in, I don't even think they have to beat Clemson to then come home and probably smash Vatech, as long as they go with the right effort. Right? If they go with the right mindset and play a hard game, you could lose that and still come home and take care of Vatech. Vatech's terrible.
Clemson has beaten Troy, North Carolina, and Boston College.
Right? They should wax.
If you
Clemson.
lose this Clemson team, like you should be fired. Sorry, man.
We've said that about a few games.
It's just
100%. Like, dude. Like, so you beat BC, which has 0 Power 5 wins this year. You beat Carolina, who has 1 now because they beat Syracuse on Syracuse's 4th string quarterback, and you beat Troy, a Sun Belt team.
Yeah,
I mean, they have no good wins this year at all. Like, they're not making a bowl. I don't think. Like that.
I got them at 5-7 as the most likely outcome, but 6-6 is ahead of 4-8.
Like I don't want to give them credit for beating the Clemson jersey when the Clemson player and the Clemson team is not Clemson.
No, that's why the way it looks is going to matter. It's not just about going
if you go pound them, if you go pound Clemson in Death Valley, then maybe. But like, I don't see it, man.
I don't think they're going to pound anybody team on the road, unfortunately.
Like, do you have Clemson in your top 40 in the power ratings?
I have them 42nd.
Same. I mean, we're getting excited about going and playing hard against a team that's outside the top 40 in the sport. What the hell is that?
baby steps.
Yeah.
Year
The
6.
goalpost has been,
baby steps in year 6.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Dude,
It's ridiculous. I think they're going to wind up
like
6
Tennessee
and 6
fans
or
are
7
bitching
and 5.
about like Heupel, rebuilding in year 5, and they might go 7 and 5, and they played like 3 top 10 teams. I mean, man.
Oh, it's not a good
Better
position
not be saying
to
the
be.
standard's the standard if this is what we're celebrating. Like that's nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's
The standard's been long gone, unfortunately. Like, it's going to take a while. It's going to take probably 2 coaches from now to get back to the standard. Let's just be honest. There's going to be the guy who follows Mike that gets us back to an 8-4 floor, and then there's going to be the next guy who tries to probably in the P2 eventually that would get them back to a title contender. We're like 8 years from that, though. It took 8 years to get in this mess. It's probably going to take 8 years to get out of it, 6 to 8 to get out of it.
Let me ask you something. If Gus leaves and you keep Tony, but you want to, bring in a new OC, and you want to make probably change or 2 on offense for sure. And if you get rid of Gus, you may be making 3 or 4 offensive coaching staff changes, right? And we know you probably want to make 2 on defense for sure.
Yeah, that linebacker coach needs to find a new job.
What's it going to cost you to flip all these assistants? Because the OC is not going to come and now we're talking about the schedule. Like they're probably a 4-8 type team next year.
Yeah,
which maybe is why you keep Mike to let him wear the losses, then say have a good one, so the new coach doesn't get off.
I think the problem is, would Mike even be able to get anybody worth a damn with that?
Well, you got to money whip somebody, right? Which means you probably got to give a 3-year guarantee deal. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to be as cheap to flip this thing as you think. If you keep Mike, you lose the entire offense, especially if Gus goes, because you're not going to want Tommy back for another OC because he can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to go portal everybody in.
Yeah, they're going to need like 18 starters out of the portal again.
Right, because they haven't built the kind of foundation under Mike. Like, it's not like you have young guys you're really excited about in numbers. You got a couple who are nice, the Desir twins and a couple other dudes, but not much. So you're going to be overpaying in the portal like crazy, right? We're getting excited about flipping a bunch of 3 stars this week. That's whatever. Okay, fine. Like anything to be happy about, I guess. I'm not trying to be negative here, but it's like, it's kind of penny wise, pound foolish, I think, to do this. If they really decide they're going to sit on their wallets and do this.
Well, and I think also that doesn't even account for the negative impact to the city of Tallahassee economically, because you're also going to probably lose. Not only will the city not get the boost on those football weekends, but you're probably going to see a lack of renewals for season tickets. Booster donations might fall. Like, it's going to cost a lot of money to bring him back. But I also don't think they want to participate in this market right now. They don't want to spend $13 million for another head coach. They probably don't want to go take another risk on a G5 right now. And they don't want to be in the same market as Florida, LSU, Auburn, and Penn State.
It's only a risk, though, if you pay them like top of the market prices.
No, you don't have to explain it to me, but I get it. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think the money people even think about it the same way we do, as close as we are to it.
It's because you're spending someone else's money. Like, Mike Alford's not spending his own money, right? He's spending somebody else's money, which is a lot easier to do. The thing is, it makes your job in AD a hell of a lot easier if you make the head coach out to be God, right? Hey, man, like, we got the guy. We got to have you donate all. Like, that's what you fundraise off, okay? Which what you should fundraise off is, hey, we have great bones here. We just built this facility. We just did the stadium upgrades. We're in the state of Florida. Guys do naturally want to play a little bit closer to home. We're in a place that has a lot of winning tradition. Anybody who has a competent job is going to coast to a bowl game in the ACC, okay? The ACC has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If half this league is outside the top 60 in the power ratings. If you fall out of bed and aren't a disaster, you're easily making a bowl every year, even with a somewhat challenging non-conference. So that's kind of how you need to start fundraising and understand what the actual advantages are. Like, the F in Florida State has to matter. That's Florida. You need to recruit locally and do a good job of it and use that to your advantage. But they really don't. No, I think it's going to be a lot more expensive to keep him around in terms of flipping the roster and flipping the coaching staff again, assuming Gus leaves, than people realize it's going to be.
Do you see who the big guest they had at the game was this weekend?
I did.
Yeah.
Because
it's nice seeing her around for a change.
That's pretty cool, man. Now, I don't know that she gives to other areas of the school. I would assume.
I know.
So.
I've heard she gives a lot back to the business school because they helped her. But I don't know that she gives to the athletics at all, if any.
And like you can't force somebody to do so. You know
I wouldn't. I mean, it's her money. She made it, and she can spend it however she wants. It would be awesome though if because her sons looked real excited being in the locker room. Maybe Norvell can send some memorabilia over to the house, and she can write a nice little check as a thank you note.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, be writing his own check.
Absolutely,
man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? We got the Clemson game. So now you said like if they string couple, like how many more? Are there enough games left in this season for you to say, all right, I've seen a real change. I've seen enough. And are there enough games against opponents that you really think it should matter against?
I don't think the fundamental part behind it, and what sucks and that's where it becomes all politics, is that you have majority of the fan base not really in the know of why people don't like Norvell. And it's like constantly people that are really understanding what's going on here are trying to like explain this. And it's like, it's not about him winning out. Like he can win out big time the rest of the season, but there's nothing, and obviously we talk about all the time, but like there's really they had to win Wake Forest the way that they did. Like that had to have been a dominant performance. If we went to the end, I don't think it would have mattered if they won or lost. So I think that was good. But like at this point, we want to win and we want to support Norvell in order for us to be able to at least hold on to some recruits, at least be able to hold on to some of the boosters, some of the people that can renew, and some of the money that can be spent. Absolutely, that's great. But it sucks because in the same breath, it's going to taint the realization of what's happening here and why there's no real longevity and there's no long-term plan with Norvell. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. So I personally don't think, even if we go to Death Valley and shut them out, even if we go to the end of the season and we just play dominant the rest of the season, it's I think the ship's kind of sailed. And I would love. The only way I see differently is if he completely changes the recruiting strategy and he starts getting really serious and he starts really recruiting in the trenches, like realistically, because this day and age, especially with Cristobal, like there's a lot of turnover right now. There's a lot of turmoil when it comes to players being locked in and staying focused and doing all those things. So you could give him that excuse, but if he's able to recruit, I'm so sorry. Like
there's nothing.
If he was able to recruit at this point, this late in the game, that would be just money whipping people.
Yeah,
which is the only way they win now anyway in recruiting.
There's nothing to suggest he's going to become a top 10 high school recruiter. Like there's no historical precedence that we can point to and be like, actually, there's one example, and it's Dabo. Dabo went from being in the 15 to 18 range when he first took over as head coach at Clemson. Mm-hmm. And then in like year 6 or 7, they became a top 10 recruiter. But that environment doesn't exist anymore. And I don't think anybody else can replicate what Dabo did. So like, for me, there's nothing Norvell can do at this point that's going to win me back. Let's just be honest. Like I've been out on him for well before 2024. It's because of what you keep saying though, bud. He doesn't have a foundation. He's not building towards anything. Every year is literally its own entity, and then he has to try to start over the very next year. And so like this is where you run into the variance of 2-10 to 10-3. And I also just don't believe he's ever going to get as lucky as he got with Verse and Fisk and Keon and some of those guys. Like he had his chance to try to win a title his way, and he's never going to get that again. I wholeheartedly believe that. Like that that was a first mover advantage. He's never going to have that advantage in the portal again. The portal only gets worse every year that we keep going. Like, it's just never going to happen. You're never going to build a championship contender when you have to go grab 10 new starters on offense every year out of the portal and another 5 or 6 on defense. It's just never going to happen.
If he went like 10-2 or 9-3 against next year's schedule, I think I would start to buy back in.
I would have to see what the recruiting. I'm a recruiting.
I would want to
geek.
see.
Like I'm a recruiting geek to a fault. So like I would have to see him level up recruiting to at least a top 12 and actually use it. That's the bigger problem I have. He recruits at an 18th type level.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even use the guys he gets. That's my problem. He portals over them. So he could go out and sign a top 15 class, but the odds are most of them are going to portal out in 2 years anyways, because he's just going to go grab more guys to start over him because he doesn't know how to develop a kid from signing him out of high school, getting him ready in freshman, sophomore year, and letting him loose either late sophomore year or junior year. Like he just hasn't shown that ability. And so there's really nothing that's going to prove to me that that's going to change anytime soon. And that's the only way you're going to ever get out of this rut and be a contender again.
I mean, if you were looking for stuff to start believing this year, so Clemson is a bottom half team in the Power 5.
Mm-hmm.
NC State's a bottom third team at this point.
Yeah, they're probably in the low 50s, high 60s.
Vatech's like a bottom quarter team in the P5. You know, Florida is
probably still roughly top 30, top 35.
And there's like 69 teams plus the Irish. So like just call it clean 70. 35 is kind of your midline.
Yeah.
In the P4. I mean, if you went out and pounded those 3 teams, I'd be like, all right, maybe like then I believe that like they're actually like bought in, paying attention to details, type thing. You know, like this
that
is not
would be
roster.
That would be similar to the way Jimbo finished 2011.
Yeah,
remember after the 3-game, they had the bad loss to Virginia, but after the 3-game losing streak, he went out and he won a bunch of big games and then beat Notre Dame in the bowl game. He would need something like that where it can't be in doubt in any of those games.
I mean, you should not be like sweating making a bowl against a schedule this crappy in year 6. Like that's just unacceptable.
For the 4th time in 6 years.
Yeah, this is garbage to watch. But
yeah, I'm as far as the recruiting aspect of it, I know college football will never be the same like when I was there, even just 5 years ago. But the culture at Florida State has to matter, and at no point in time can it not matter. And I just feel like the way that Norvell's doing it, there's no way for a player to come in and really say that they're a Seminole, where it's like the players like Singleton, there's no reason why you're sitting here waiting until mid-season to actually get some playing time. Like that is something that I think he oversaw and had to backtrack for, because I know he's a dog. Like I know he's a hard worker. I've only heard great things about him. He is a hard worker. He comes to work every single day, but Chroma stood out. And that's a trend. Obviously he got him as a freshman, but like when it comes to development, it is a built-in way that you coach and how you implement your team. There's no reason why that should have happened. Like Chroma, you're going to get some playing time, but at this point, I have to make sure that like my guys are able to go within my program strategically. But there's no strategy. Like there's no strategy there. Like I really wish the best and I hope the best for Norvell. And yeah, if he starts winning, sure. There's so much more to it on the back end that we would have to see in order for it to make sense. But financially, we don't have a choice. That's what the bottom line comes down to.
One thing he could do is get a new GM, and that would make me feel better. I'll just be honest.
Would it though? Like, I mean, is he going to hold his guys to a standard?
I don't know, but I need to see something changed. At least that's a change to the way you go about scouting and recruiting is by changing your GM.
I think given what we saw Malzahn do at UCF, I think taking some of these guys that don't really fit you but are more PR takes is a Mike thing. Think about who he coached under.
Yeah.
That's a very Malzahn thing to do.
It is.
To take a guy that doesn't really fit your system but is rated highly so you can get the PR credit through the media.
Yeah.
That's very late stage Malzahn at Auburn. That's very what he did at UCF.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it starts with the head man, Miami doesn't recruit great because Mario or because they have a great GM. It's because Mario.
Yeah.
Right. Florida didn't recruit great because they had some great GM. It's because Billy worked his ass off in recruiting and demanded the same of his guys. That's got to, to me, that's got to start at the top. Mike has to want to work hard in recruiting. I don't think that he does. And Mike has to insist that his guys work hard in recruiting. And I know that he doesn't hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this whole recruiting talk is way too late in the game.
Yeah, because they're in a vicious cycle.
What are you going to sell next year? 6-6 after really pounding the pay. Let's pretend for a second. All of a sudden, you're going to, start making good decisions in recruiting and really working hard and trying to build relationships and not just being the highest bidder and relying on that to be your winning formula. What are you selling? You haven't been worth a damn since these kids were entered high school, right?
Yeah, they have nothing to sell.
Right.
Because they have no development. That's the bigger
nothing
thing.
Under this staff. The school has plenty to sell.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying they can't go and be look at this guy. I turned him from a 3-star in high school to an NFL. They don't even have those stories. They don't have stories about turning blue chips into pros. So they don't have anything to sell. They literally have to pay 25, 35% premiums just to get a kid to commit to the bag. And that's probably why most of the ones they do get don't even work out, because you're getting kids who sign for a bag instead of kids who are signing to get developed and to go to the next level.
Right.
It's a terrible cycle, and there's nothing that's going to break it at this point.
Well,
I mean, nothing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else did we talk about? We talked about, we didn't talk about Congruity. Congruity HR Solutions does a great job for all of your HR needs. Obviously, Congruity, all the notes are there in the show notes as far as how to contact those guys. More than 10 Nolecast businesses have decided to use Congruity as well as all the business Ingram sends, and whether it's HR, payroll, medical insurance, whatever you need, they can certainly take care of you. Did you guys get to Madso this week? Because I know a lot of people did, of course, for the Wake Forest game. A tremendous experience as well at Madso Township and the great family of restaurants that Matt manages and owns. So longtime sponsor of the Nolecast as well. Probably should hit those ad reads a little bit earlier. Sorry, guys, on that. I will say I would have liked to see more of the young dudes, on the offensive line get in the game.
Yeah.
I think we've been saying that though all season, but
yeah, I know Herb Hand was not a top choice for them in the offensive line search, and people got pissed off when I reported that. But I was like, guys, I know who they went after. He was not one of the top guys they went after, and if they wanted him, they could have had him immediately, given that nobody else really wanted him at a UCF. So,
dude, I will give him credit. At least
he's a nice guy,
the offensive line hasn't been terrible, so at least
it's been better than last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's a massive upgrade over Atkins. It's just unfortunate we haven't gotten to see some of the young guys get some more run. That way, we wouldn't have to be so reliant on portaling a whole new offensive line next year.
Which is
right.
We shouldn't have to be sitting here talking about that's your whole job, is to make sure that you can have longevity. But it's just every night you go to bed, you're thinking in the next. I'm like, what am I going to do next year? What am I going to do next year? It's that's really tough.
They coach they coach like a staff though that isn't sure there's going to be a next year.
Yeah. But so Sam Singleton,
instead of coaching for the future.
Sam Singleton, that is a good opportunity. Just speaking on a lighter note, Sam Singleton's a good opportunity to look into what's going on with Norvell. I think he is trying to kind of turn that corner a little bit. Obviously, we've done it on the defensive side of the ball, which I'm not giving him any credit for that, because it hasn't been by choice. That has been by force. But on the offensive side of the ball, he has had some opportunities in order to play some guys, and he has. So I want to see, he obviously made that huge youth movement during those cupcake games, which obviously a lot of teams do, but he did it in abundance because he probably knew going into the season that maybe he wouldn't, which he should have. He should have continued that kind of course in some capacity. But the Sam Singleton is a great add-on to add to his kind of resume as of right now, to be able to develop this guy, to be able to show him off in order for us to be able to have some opportunity there. So
it might also create an opportunity for Sam to go somewhere else because he has some good film, unfortunately. Like, we just need to be, it's something to keep in mind.
I agree, but the other side of that is knowing that we have a running back that we could pay and keep. You see what I'm saying?
So, because you think Chroma's more likely to walk than Singleton.
There's a good chance he's gonna. There's a good chance, and if we don't,
I bet you Chroma's here next year.
I hope, hopefully, but like,
I'd like to have both of them, to be honest.
It would be ideal, but you can't bank on that. So us being able to
guys
say,
you brought in are on 2-year deals.
Yeah.
Oh,
so true. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's here next year.
Well, that would be ideal, but you can't.
Also, like, they're paying him a ton, man, and I don't think. Yeah. I mean, he's got to be your.
You took him from Georgia. He's
got to be your second highest paid player on offense behind Tommy.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I mean, you beat Georgia after a 2-10 season for the number one running back in the country.
Yeah.
Like, number one running backs in the country make almost $1 million a year out of high school. Like, not quite $1 million, but like, I would think, like, if you're the top running back in the country, you're making $750 plus immediately year one, right, out of high school. So I don't know what they paid, but like, think about, like, you beat Georgia and you went 2-10, and Georgia needed a back.
Yeah. So they did not.
You probably had to outbid Georgia by a ton.
Like I said before, like 30 and 40% premiums.
Right. So I mean, think about it. Like, I'm assuming Tommy makes. I don't know. I think that 800 number got reported is probably low, to be honest.
I was thinking more like 1.25 or something.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't think he'd get 1.5, but I think he's probably around 1. I would guess. Like, maybe you're right on that. Like, 8 seems really low to me on that. But like, Tommy's not going to make more money elsewhere.
No.
Given any scheme, like, if you bring back Gus, I think Tommy's probably your guy next year.
Yeah.
Chroma. I mean, I'd be surprised if he can get more somewhere else. I really would. Just based on this year, like, he's had some good moments, and he's had some moments that are like, all right.
Plus, there's just not a lot of offenses that put that much of a emphasis on a single back, right? Like, that's right. Georgia likes a workhorse and Gus likes a workhorse, but I don't know that there's a ton of other offenses out there that are looking to have a running back that's going to take up that much cap space essentially for 16, 18 carries a game.
I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Like how much of your cap is it taking up,
Yeah. So that's going to be one of the most interesting things to follow at the end of the season is, assuming he comes back, what does it look like in terms of retention?
Yeah.
I mean,
and if they're bought in, which should be pretty good. I'm believing that these kids are bought in, seeing as we talked about it. Listen, we'll see.
I don't know.
Like, if they finish on a 6-game win streak or something like that, then I could believe that they're bought in off that. But like,
yeah, if they go 8-4, but if they go 6-6, you're probably going to lose some promising pieces off this roster.
Yeah, I mean, you could lose the Desir twins, right?
Yeah,
to Miami, because like, they're going to need a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lewayne looks to go. I mean, he almost went to Miami anyways, right? And he's not exactly getting a ton of usage in this offense.
Yeah, he's not exactly forcing his way on the field, and they don't really have like a true number 2. I mean, Danzy's actually playing pretty well, but like, are you sweating Lewayne McCoy? If you are, I think that says a lot about where you are as a program right now.
Well, I don't exactly like the wide receiver room in general. So,
well, yeah,
that's the other issue. If you're talking about Deuce is going to go pro, and all you got back is Danzy. I mean, BJ Gibson left to play baseball full time. What else do they have? I mean, Camden Fryer. Like, what exactly do they have? They don't have a ton of promising wide receivers.
If I'm Alford and Gus goes, I tell Mike, you are not allowed to change the offense again. Right? Like, you uprooted this entire thing to bring in a spread option. Like, we're not spending tons and tons and tons of money to bring in a bunch of receivers for you. Okay. Like, you should have been recruiting to your system. So continue to recruit through the portal, see this thing out, sink or swim with this offense. Like, we're not blowing this whole damn thing up for you again.
Yeah.
Because you already blew it up once. I don't know. Like, to me, that's where if you're Alford, you kind of got to nut up and be like, we're not doing this again. Like, we're not bringing in a brand new scheme, 5 new receivers, a quarterback who can throw the ball, etc.
It's bad enough they're going to have to bring in 5 offensive linemen, probably a couple defensive linemen, a couple linebackers.
Well, that was kind of my point. Like, so Daniels can't play and Simmons can't play. Like, those guys are not going to be in the plans at all.
Tite, Thompson, the Otto. Like, you have 5 guys that I would like to just see play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
could they be that bad, much worse than going and getting a bunch of G5 offensive linemen from the portal? They're all going to be juniors next year. They're all third-year players,
right? Like, just it's incredibly bad odds that none of them hit.
Yeah,
yeah.
But this guy's been a walking statistical anomaly, so maybe it is. I don't know. You shouldn't go 2-10 at Florida State.
Yeah, ever.
I hear that.
You shouldn't miss a bowl in 4 out of 6 years, potentially. Ever.
It's rough, man. I
won't ever root for FSU to lose, but sometimes there's necessary evils. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, well, like the false hope, yeah. Like, you don't want them to lose, but you do like to see them get back, like to start on a path that allows them to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's been able to like explain that path to me in any kind of like coherent manner at all.
Well, and you can't see it when you look at the recruiting rank and like who they actually have committed and who they're going after.
Yeah, I mean, you recruit like you're freaking Missouri and you're in the state of Florida. That's embarrassing.
They literally are closer to Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Missouri than they are to Florida and Miami and Clemson and any other top program in the recruiting rankings.
Yeah, exactly. It's we'll see what happens with the quarterback. O'Neill's rating kept dropping, like I told you guys over the summer it would. He was a grow first kid, who was bigger, faster, stronger than everybody else as a freshman, and then obviously he's so old, like everybody else kind of caught up to him. So, he's a 3-star now on I think most of the services. So, and I'm not involved in the rankings process, by the way. Just common sense tells me like these grow first kids are typically like, teams are not dumb. They understand if you're a holdback twice, like you're going to be.
If Tommy didn't get another year, would they really go Sperry, or do you think they'd go try to find something in the portal?
I think it's so much dependent like on what offense they run.
Well, if you keep even a variation of Gus's, would you go look at a kid like Keenholtz at OSU? Because he's going to be looking for a place to play next year, and he's a better version of Brock Glenn, right? He's a similar. He's mobile enough to run some of the QB keep stuff, and he can scramble if plays break down. But he also is a better passer than like Brock Glenn. So would you go look at somebody like him who might cost you $850, $950, maybe $1 million? Or would you try to run Sperry in year 2 because he was recruited to this offense and he's already been in it for a year?
I would go like seriously here. I would basically go look at the recruiting rankings from prior years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Find the guys who teams bet on who are really good athletes who they thought maybe they could turn into a good passer, who they failed on the passing part, and go get one of those guys.
That's Keenholtz. That dude can do 360 dunks. Like he played like 4 sports in high school in North Dakota.
Him, like a Kamario Taylor at Mississippi State. Like now I assume he's going to win the job at State, right?
Yeah.
But like, that dude is twitched up. Other guys here who we liked, as far as who were like very, very athletic, and the passing was like.
What about like an Aaron Nolan out of South Carolina? You think he would transfer again?
how do I say this nicely? No, but not for reasons I want to say on the air.
Okay.
I just don't want to get into it. But I would say no, but I think that fits the archetype overall.
Okay.
What about TJ Lateef, right? The kid who had to come in from Nebraska. Was 5 of 7 for 7 yards. He can't really throw. I mean, that's hard to do, throw for 7 yards in 7 attempts. Right? And complete 5. Like 5 of 7 for 7 yards is a wild stat line. You thought about that? Like, I mean, you throw, like, how do you complete 5 passes on 7 attempts for 7 yards?
5 bubbles, man. 5 bubbles.
Yeah, that's it.
Bro. But like there are a lot of guys like that who, you know, it's like, all right, they're pretty athletic. I want to take a chance on them because if they develop as a passer, I've got a superstar. If they don't, there's still some use for them in this type of offense. If you're still running Gus's offense,
Right.
The other problem is like whoever you bring in, if he runs Gus's tree, Gus might tell him, "Hey, Sperry's actually like the goods." If he is, if you actually believe what they say in the media, which I don't know that I do, by the way, but like, I mean, he hasn't looked terrible, right? Just hasn't looked, you know, special.
He's reminded me of Brock in the same situation a couple years ago when Brock was a freshman. Like, but unfortunately, quarterbacks are so mentally fragile that you get some negative to go against them early and they can never shake it. And I feel like that's what happened to Brock Glenn, right? Like he got thrown to the wolves and he never actually had a bunch of success. And so he was broken early and there was no recovering. We've seen it even at Florida State. I always felt like that was the problem with Ricks, right? Ricks had to start way before he was ready. And the negative just, it builds and builds. You get all that scar tissue and it just prevents you from growing into what you're supposed to be. So I feel, and I don't know. I'm worried that Sperry is going to get broken early and never reach the potential. I just wasn't wowed in the Stanford. I don't know. I don't feel like he's the type of quarterback we should have at Florida State. There, I said it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just, but it's the offense. It's the offensive scheme. So like, it makes sense for what it is. I've been really happy with his demeanor when it comes to being a young, true freshman, and you're playing over Brock. You're having, especially across the country, you come in. I'm jittery. Like, you're probably jittery. You're like, oh, nah, man, he just got hit. All right, I got to get in. Like, that's a nerve-wracking time. And I think that he still maintained his composure for the most part, as well as those couple games that we saw him earlier in the season. I don't think he doesn't seem like the lights are too bright for him. And I like that, especially in this type of scheme, especially playing underneath Tommy. If we could get him, again, college football is just so different now. It's so different. It's really taking some adjustment for me, as kind of in depth as I've been over the last year or so, to kind of get used to this whole kind of mindset of the options. There's just options. It's just whether you're going to get played over or not. You may never make it. You may end up having to pull a situation to where you go to a smaller school in order to get it, even though you got brought in for this particular scheme. We got to win now. And it's just, this one of those things. It's tough.
No, it absolutely is. All right. You guys have anything else for all right. Let's wrap here, and then we will hit the preview on Wednesday, Thursday. Like, talk a little Clemson, maybe get a Clemson guest on. I thought Cam was a really nice guest, by the way. That was a good time. He's a good dude.
I hope he didn't load up too much. He was ready to go, but he was ready to go risk it all on Wake after hearing us talk about FSU.
Yeah, no, he was cool. He was cool. Very knowledgeable.
That
was awesome. That was a nice little mix up for sure.
No doubt. Awesome, guys. All right, I will publish this as soon as we get off, and we'll chop it up again.
All right, there you go.
All right, see you.